Mr. Gabby Lopez is now recognized. Please answer the question of Congresswoman Bautista.
Good morning po. Ano po uli yung tanong ninyo, Congressman Bautista?
Good morning, Attorney.
Ma'am.
Sir, my question was, your submission showed that you filed a petition with the Bureau of Immigration in 2001 for recognition of Filipino citizenship. During this process, were you asked to fill up an alien fingerprinting form?
ABS CBN.
Ko po. Sorry.
Yes, you're recognized.
Ang intindi ko po ako sigurado is that Mr. Lopez did file that alien form.
Okay. Okay, sir. So, were you, going back to Mr. Gabby Lopez, sir, were you advised to file this petition or did you find it necessary to do so yourself?
Yes, ABS CBN.
Yes, Your Honor. It was in recognition of being a natural-born citizen that I took it upon myself to ask for recognition of my citizenship. My understanding from my lawyers was that I am a natural-born Filipino citizen because both my parents are Filipino citizens. But because I was not born in the Philippines, I did not have a Filipino birth certificate. So it behooved me to have a recognition by the Department of Justice and the Bureau of Immigration for whatever legal purposes I may use of that recognition po.
So, Mr. Lopez, is it correct in saying that this petition was indeed to settle issues regarding your citizenship, correct?
Mr. Lopez?
Opo, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, sir. I read somewhere that after this process and after you got your Philippine passport in 2001, you still traveled using your U.S. passport. And there were still instances when you traveled to the Philippines using your American passport. Do you confirm this, sir?
Before I recognize Mr. Gabby Lopez, paalala lang po kay Congresswoman Dindy Bautista na lumagpas na po tayo sa 3 minutes and if you can, please wrap up at maaari ka po naming ilista ulit dito sa bilang ng mga magtatanong, Congresswoman Bautista.
Okay,
Mr. Gabby Lopez?
Your Honor, if my law be recognized to speak out on this specific issue.
Yes, Attorney.
Salamat po. 2 punto po ang ni-raise ni Congressman Bautista tungkol sa citizenship ni Mr. Gabby Lopez. Una po, gumagamit siya ng US passport. Pangalawa, nag-file siya ng petition for recognition sa Bureau of Immigration. Doon po sa kaso ng Valles versus Comelec na dinicide ng Supreme Court on August 9, 2000, maliwanag po na sinabi ng Korte Suprema na ang paggamit ng alien or foreign passport ay hindi po indicative na isang tao po ay hindi Pilipino. Doon po sa kasong yon, sinabi po na yung respondent, private respondent, na by coincidence, ang pangalan din po niya ay Rosalind Ibasco Lopez. Sinabi po ni Valles na hindi siya Pilipino dahil number 1, she had an Australian passport, and number 2, she expressly renounced her Filipino citizenship when she declared under oath in her application for alien certificate of registration and immigrant certificate of residence that she was a citizen or subject of Australia. Dinismiss po itong kasong to ng Korte Suprema. In dismissing the case, the Supreme Court said, and I quote, "In order that citizenship may be lost by renunciation, such renunciation must be expressed." Sinite po ng Supreme Court ang Aznar versus Comelec at Mercado versus Manzano and Comelec. And I quote, "Thus, the mere fact that the private respondent, Rosalind Ibasco Lopez, was a holder of an Australian passport and an alien certificate of registration are not acts constituting an effective renunciation of citizenship and do not militate against her claim of Filipino citizenship. For renunciation to effectively result in the loss of citizenship, the same must be expressed." So, doon po sa punto na ginamit ni Mr. Lopez yung kanyang American passport, hindi po nagkakahulugan na hindi siya Pilipino. Pangalawa po, Congressman Bautista raised the petition of Mr. Gabby Lopez for recognition with the Bureau of Immigration, which was subsequently affirmed by the Department of Justice. Yung pagpili niya sa kanyang letter request, as you admit, is a petition for recognition.
Mr. Chairman, may I just ask the lawyer one question?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Congressman Remulla.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The only question is he 100% Filipino or 100% American or 50% Filipino and 50% American?
Attorney?
He is po a dual citizen. Ang dual citizen po, si Mr. Gabby Lopez, dahil pinanganak siya, ang kanyang magulang ay Pilipino. Under the prevailing 1935 Constitution na umiiral nung siya ay
No,
pinanganak.
ano lang, very simple lang kasi, no? I don't want a long deliberation in this matter. I just want to know, is he partly Filipino and partly American or half Filipino, half American? I don't want to dwell on the technicalities of what the Supreme Court says. I just want to know, for practical purposes, is he purely Filipino or is he partly Filipino? Or does he claim to have two citizenships?
He has a dual citizenship
Attorney?
status po.
So
I'm
yung
sorry.
dual is, Mr. Chairman, dual citizenship means, two citizenships means dual citizenship. Is that correct, Attorney
Attorney?
Bautista?
Opo, dalawa po ang citizenship
Okay,
na.
that's all I need to,
An
Mr.
American
Chairman. Thank you, Mr.
citizen
Chairman.
And he's a Filipino citizen. Ito po kanyang pagiging Amerikano at Pilipino.
Mr.
ay
Chairman, the
purely-
question has been answered already.
Thank you, Congressman Remulla. Attorney, you can continue.
Opo, salamat po ng maran. Yung pagka-dual citizenship po ni Mr. Gabby Lopez ay automatic legal consequence dahil pinanganak po siya mula sa mga Pilipino and under our Constitution, jus sanguinis ay Pilipino siya. Pinanganak din po siya sa Amerika. Na alam po naman natin na pagka ikaw ay pinanganak sa teritoryo ng Amerika, ikaw ay American citizen dahil po yung kanilang doktrinang sinusunod ay jus soli. So from the moment of birth, without doing anything, without any overt act or choice, Mr. Lopez was automatically a Filipino citizen and an American citizen. Yung po ang tinatawag natin na dual citizen.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Vice Chairman Defensor.
thank you. Mr. Chairman, since Attorney Bautista already explained the constitutional provisions, the points as regards to citizenship, gusto ko lang po magtanong, Attorney Bautista, kasi in relation to what Congresswoman Bautista was asking, and then si Congressman Boying Remulla. Tama po kayo, no, na hindi naman po sadya na automatic naging citizen si Mr. Gabby Lopez. Pero ang kaiba no ng 1935 Constitution at 1973 Constitution, and this is in relation dun po sa binanggit ni Congressman Boying Remulla, dati ho, sa 35 Constitution, pagka ang tatay mo Pilipino Pilipino ka kaagad. Pagka ang nanay mo Pilipina, pag the age of majority, kailangan mo mag-elect ka to be a Filipino. Sa 1973 Constitution po, ganun din po ang sinabi, pagka ang ama mo, ang ina mo ay Pilipino, Pilipino ka kaagad. Dito po sa 1987 Constitution, ganun din ho. Pero may karagdagan. Ang nakadagdag po dito yung Section 5. Dual allegiance of citizens is inimical to the national interest and shall be dealt with by law. Article 4, Citizenship, Section 5. Binanggit ko po ito sa kadahilanan na noong 1991, gumawa po ang batas ang Kongreso na ang barangay captain, barangay kagawad, kahit ikaw pinanganak sa Amerika, bumalik ka rito, magulang mo Pilipino, you have to forgo of your Filipino citizenship. Kailangan mong tanggalin ang iyong pagka-Amerikano, iyong pagka-Chino, kung ikaw man ay Australiano, kailangan isa lang. And if I may quote the question of then Senator Enrile to Senator Pimentel, Senator Enrile, but precisely, Mr. President, the Constitution does not require an election. Under the Constitution, a person whose mother is a citizen of the Philippines is at birth a citizen without any overt act to claim the citizenship. Senator Pimentel, yes, what we are saying, Mr. President, is under the gentleman's example, if he does not renounce his other citizenship, then he is opening himself to question. So if he's really interested to run, the first thing he should do is to say in the certificate of candidacy that I am a Filipino citizen and I have only one citizenship. Pinasok ko po ito, may tanong po kay Mr. Lopez sana kanina, pero dahil nag-usap na po tayo sa konstitusyon, kung kami po nire-require, barangay captain, kagawad, isa lang, Pilipino ka lang, what more for a mass media company na ang pag-iisip ng bawat Pilipino ang pwede mong kontrolin, na ang kultura ng ating bansa ay meron kang kinalaman, na ang impormasyon na lumalabas ay pwede kang makialam. Isipin po natin, kung may isa man lang, hindi rin niya kasalanan, ipinganak sa China, half Chinese, half Filipino. Now we have the question of the West Philippine Sea. Can you imagine the situation of an owner of a broadcasting station in the Philippines, president of a broadcasting station of the Philippines, having been half or is half Filipino and half Chinese? That is why, if we require our kagawads, our barangay captains to be full Filipino citizenship, then I think it is also incumbent upon us to require those who will handle and own mass media to have full Filipino citizenship. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, can I be given an opportunity to respond?
Purong Pilipinong Vice Chairman, Mike Defensor. Sino po yung nagsalita?
Mr. Chairman,
Okay,
Gabby
Mr.
Lopez
Gabby
po.
Lopez, you're recognized.
Thank you po, Mr. Chairman. I think Congressman's Defensor's words are very well taken. I stand by my record over the last 35 years. I have been committed to the people of this country. It is a trust that has been passed on to me by my father and by his father before him. Gina Lopez is not an outlier in our family. She is part and parcel of the way our family thinks. We are, in fact, totally dedicated in the service of the Filipino. It is a trust that has been given to me. And in fact, I always tell our employees, dito sa ABS CBN po, it is not just a job, it is a calling. So please, if you are going to look beyond the technicality and talk about allegiance, please look at my record over the last 35 years po.
Thank you. Mr. Lopez, just a quick response. Again, I'm not imputing any question on your allegiance. It was just a response to Attorney Bautista, who was giving a explanation on the Constitution. So that is why I also mentioned Section 5 of the Constitution on allegiance, not pertaining to you personally. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Defensor. The Chair would like to recognize now Congressman Edsel Lagman for his interpellation.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, si Ayo Bautista po, my lawyer, would like to make additional comments, please.
Attorney, you are recognized.
Salamat po. Binanggit po ni Congressman Defensor yung Section 5, Article 4 of the 1987 Constitution. Ang Section 5 po, ang nakalagay, dual allegiance of citizens is inimical to the national interest and shall be dealt with by law. Ito pong provision na to ay isinama sa 1987 Constitution ni Commissioner Blas F. Ople. In-explain po niya kung bakit niya gusto isama itong provision na to. And I quote, "I want to draw attention to the fact that dual allegiance is not dual citizenship." Galing po yan kung sa mismong nag-propose ng provision na ito. And so, I do not question double citizenship at all. Sa kulilang versus Datumano na dinicide po ng ating Korte Suprema noong May 11, 2007, sinabi po ng Korte Suprema na kailangan meron pong enabling law to implement the constitutional provision on dual allegiance. Kasi po, nakalagay sa Section 5 ng Constitution, shall be dealt with by law. Kaya sinabi po ng Korte Suprema, for us to implement a policy regarding dual allegiance, kailangan po may enabling law, may batas na ipasa ang Kongreso. Yung pong binanggit ni Congressman tungkol sa mga public
Mr.
officials,
Chairman.
Congressman Defensor.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, with all due respect to Attorney Bautista, we also do our readings on all this, and I just like to say that yung po binanggit ni Constitutional Commissioner Blas Ople, sinabi na nga ho doon, di ba, ang example niya yung mga in-check na
tama po yan.
opo, na pwede nilang isiphon yung money, ilagay sa Taiwan, ilagay sa Singapore, and it says here, dual allegiance is inimical to citizenship and should dealt with according to law. Alam naman po natin walang batas. Ang punto lang ho dito, dun ho sa later on, the law on the local government code, ang sinasabi na nga po, huwag na tayong magkaroon ng dual citizenship kasi nga baka maka-apekto sa allegiance natin. Yun lang naman po, Attorney Bautista.
Salamat po.
Thank you. The Chair would like to recognize now Congressman Edsel Lagman. And then, para po mas mabilis na proceedings natin, pwede na pong direkta po tanungin diretso ni Congressman Lagman yung ating mga resource persons at pwede na pong dumiretso na rin po ng sagot para mas mabilis po yung flow natin. Thank you. Congressman Lagman, you have the floor.
Honorable Chairman, most probably I will not ask extensive questions anymore because I submit that the allegation that former ABS CBN President and Chairman Gabby Lopez III is an American citizen is a non-issue because he is undeniably a natural-born Filipino citizen, having been born of a Filipino father and as well as a Filipino mother. No amount of interpellations would change this overriding and unalterable fact. The 1935 Constitution, which was in effect at the time of his birth in 1952, unequivocally provides that one whose father is a Filipino citizen acquires the citizenship of his father as a Filipino at birth. Let me just quote Section 1.3 of Article 4 of the Philippine Constitution of 1935, which is the one effective at the time of his birth. It says, the following are citizens of the Philippines. 3, those whose fathers are citizens of the Philippines. This cannot be altered by any interpellation. Now, Mr. Eugenio Lopez has not lost nor relinquished his Philippine citizenship at any point in time. All of the Philippine constitutions of 1935, 1973, and 1987 absolutely adopt the principle of jus sanguinis, or citizenship by blood relation. So that would put this issue at rest. But and then also, Attorney Bautista said that the possession and use of a foreign passport is not indicative of citizenship, and that is confirmed by relevant decisions of the Supreme Court. Just one question to Attorney Bautista. When Mr. Eugenio Lopez III applied for recognition of Philippine citizenship in 2001, was that absolutely necessary, or it was just to remove any cloud of doubt on his citizenship?
Pwede po.
Pwede ka na magsagot.
Pwede po ako magsalita.
Please answer na po. Pwede, diretso na po.
Ay, salamat po. Yung pong recognition ng letter request ni Mr. Gabby Lopez ay isinasaad po yan sa batas. Hanapin ko lang po sandali ito. Doon po sa kaso ng Republic versus Hart na dinicide po ng Korte Suprema on June 13, 2016. Sinabi po dito ng Supreme Court ay as follows. As the agency tasked to provide immigration and naturalization regulatory services and implement laws governing citizenship and the admission and stay of aliens, the DOJ has the power to authorize the recognition of citizens of the Philippines. Pakiulit ko lang po yun. May poder po ang DOJ na mag-recognize ng mga citizens ng Pilipinas. Any individual, I'm quoting pa rin po sa desisyon, any individual born of a Filipino parent is a citizen of the Philippines and is entitled to be recognized as such. Recognition is accorded by the Bureau of Immigration and the Department of Justice to qualified individuals. Ngayon po, on April 15, 1999, ang Bureau of Immigration po, which is under the Department of Justice, issued instruction number RBR 99002. Under this law instruction of the Bureau of Immigration, nakalagay po na the remedy of filing of a petition for recognition by way of a letter request is available to dual citizens, gaya po ni Mr. Lopez, who wish to secure a categorical acknowledgement from the Philippine government of his Philippine citizenship status from birth for any legal purpose it may serve. So kahit ano po yung dahilan ninyo, basta it's for a legal purpose, pwede. Kaya nung nag-apply po si Mr. Lopez, letter request for a certificate of recognition ng kanyang Philippine citizenship, hindi masyado pong importante kung ano yung dahilan. Ang nakalagay lang po is, for any legal purpose it may serve. Ngayon, ito pong Bureau of Immigration Order na April 25, 2001, binigay sa kanya yung kanyang petition for recognition. Dito po, sinasabi mismo ni Secretary of Justice, then Secretary of Justice Perez, in his second endorsement, in-affirm pa niya that Mr. Lopez, and I quote, is a citizen of the Philippines pursuant to Section 13, Article 4 of the 1935 Constitution in relation to Section 1, Paragraph 2, Article 4 of the present 1987 Constitution. Maliwanag po na yung kanyang petition na letter request is merely for recognition. Inaamin naman po ng lahat na yung kanyang petition for recognition is a letter na 2 pahina lang. 2 pages lang po yun. Kaya paano po natin masasabi na he acquired Filipino citizenship by way of a 2-page letter? Eh alam po naman natin na ang Pilipino ay magiging Pilipino 2 paraan lang. Una, pinanganak siya sa kanyang magulang, nanay o tata ay Pilipino. At pangalawa, through naturalization. Ito pong petition for recognition or letter request ay hindi po naturalization. Ang naturalization po ay ginagawa through a legislative act. Kayo pong mga congressmen, alam po ninyo to. Minsan po may mga basketball player tayo na dayuhan, na-naturalize ninyo. Pero kailangan po legislative act. Naturalization is also effected through court proceedings or administrative proceedings, wherein may mahabang proseso po yan. Kaya maliwanag po na yung letter request for recognition ni Mr. Gabby Lopez ay hindi niya na-acquire ang kanyang citizenship through that. It was merely a recognition of his existing Filipino citizenship. Salamat po.
To make a long story short,
Yes, sir.
that certificate of recognition issued to Mr. Gabby Lopez is a confirmation
Opo.
that he is a natural-born Filipino citizen. Is that correct?
Opo, ang nakalagay po ay confirmation at acknowledgement, hindi po grant.
Thank you.
Salamat po.
Thank you, Joint Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Lagman. The Chair would like to recognize now Congressman Rufus Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you hear me, Mr. Chairman?
Please proceed po. Malinaw po, Kong Rufus.
Thank you, Chairman. So, our distinguished Chairman, Chairman Alvarado and Alvarez, good morning to all our resource persons and also to our distinguished colleagues. I would like to therefore start by stating that, I don't know if am I seen on the screen? Yes, okay. So, first of all, let me start by stating that under prevailing Philippine law, the following are the modes by which Philippine citizenship is acquired. The first one is by birth, that is jus sanguinis, law of blood or ancestry, or by naturalization, or by reacquisition under Republic Act 9225. Now, when Mr. Lopez was born in 1952, the prevailing constitutional provision was the 1935 Constitution, which clearly states that person whose father is a Filipino is a natural-born Filipino. Now also, he was also born in the United States, and under the principle of the law of the soil, jus soli, he is also a Filipino, he's also an American citizen. Now, since birth, he has been a Filipino citizen. My question to Mr. Lopez, good morning to you, Mr. Lopez, is that ever since you were born, did you had any act express renunciation of your Philippine citizenship?
Mr. Lopez, pwede na po kayo sumagot diretso.
Magandang umaga po, Kong Rodriguez. Thank you for your question. Could you please repeat it? Matanda na ako. I'm having a senior moment.
Yes, I have stated that since your birth, according to the 1935 Constitution, you were born as a natural-born Filipino. My question is, did you, in any time after your birth up to now, did you commit any act, did you do any act of express renunciation of your Philippine citizenship?
Your Honor, I did not.
Thank you. Also, it is also clear that you were able to also get a certificate of recognition. And precisely the mention of RBR circular in the Bureau of Immigration, RBR is Rufus B. Rodriguez. When I was Commissioner of Bureau of Immigration, and certainly even dual citizens clearly can apply for recognition. And when you applied for recognition, does it mean that you were merely trying to get that certificate of recognition because that is a requirement to get a passport, because when you were born in the States, your parents did not get a Philippine passport when you were there. Is that correct?
Opo, Your Honor.
Yes, because precisely to solve issues of those who were born in the States but were not able to get passports there from the Philippines, because you get an American passport and then you bring the child, as what I did with my daughter, and bring her to the Bureau, to the Consulate of the Philippines, and got in the New York a Philippine passport. But for those who failed to get, like in your case, your parents were not able to get from the Philippine embassy a passport, then when you arrive in the Philippines, then you get a passport. So that circular was precisely to make sure that you get a recognition first before there can be a grant of the Philippine passport. So that is clear that it is for recognition purposes to get the Philippine passport. And many have done that when I was in immigration, and we took the only requirement for that recognition is that your birth certificate stating your parents are Filipinos. Now, you were also
Kung
asked...
Rufus, sorry po, kung Rufus, reminder na po, last question na po, 3 minutes na po tayo.
Okay. Yes. So, in this particular case, in your case, we should not confuse Republic Act 9225. 9225 is the reacquisition. These are people who lost by renunciation of Philippine citizenship when they apply, for example, the United States citizenship. They renounce it, but then we have a law in 2003 that allows those who even renounce them to be able to get Philippine citizenship back. And that is why this 9225 is practically an answer to the provision on the inimical to public interest, which will be dealt with law. And our law has precisely now has discarded this inimical dual allegiance and citizenship by having this law that allows even those who have lost citizenship by naturalization in another country get this back. So my last question is this: when you were traveling, because that was also asked, you used U.S. passport, and of course you are also aware that there is RBR, my circular, that when a person is dual, travels abroad, our immigration people will require that you bring your 2 passports. When you go to the United States with a Philippine passport, you have to show to Philippine immigration that you have a Philippine passport to show that you are not overstaying in the Philippines. And when you use a Philippine passport going to the U.S., you have to bring your American passport to show you don't need to have a visa in your Philippine passport because you are a U.S. citizen. Is that what happened to you, President Mr. Gabby Lopez?
Opo, I always bring both passports when I travel.
Yes, and that is because of RBR circular that requires that. With that, Mr. Chairman, let me finish by stating that Mr. Lopez, from the very, very beginning by birth, is a Filipino, no renunciation, has been able to exercise the rights of Philippine citizenship, and being Filipino, Mr. Lopez may own a part of and also participate in the management of a mass media company in conformity with the Philippine Constitution. Thank you very much, Mr. Lopez. Thank you, distinguished colleagues, and our dear chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Your Honor, if my lawyer could be given an opportunity to make additional insights.
One brief ano lang po, response lang po, Mr. Lopez, galing po kay
Salamat
attorney.
po.
Thank you. Attorney Bautista? Brief response lang po.
Salamat po. Iniintay ko po kasi ma-unmute ako eh. Anyway, binanggit po ni Kong Rodriguez yung 9225. Related po ito dun si tinanong ni Congressman Defensor kanina eh, tungkol dun sa dual allegiance. Ang nakalagay kasi nga doon, if I may repeat, is dual allegiance of citizens is inimical to the national interest and shall be dealt with by law. Ang 9225 po ay pinasa ng Kongreso para may paraan po ang mga Pilipino na bawi yung kanilang dual citizenship. Under 9225, kung ikaw ay Pilipino, pinanganak kang Pilipino, pagkatapos na naturalize ka sa ibang bayan, nire-renounce mo yung pagka-Pilipino mo at magiging citizen ka nung bayan na nag-naturalize sa inyo. Now, under 9225, pinapayagan ka na bawiin yung iyong pagka-Pilipino. In other words, under that law, you can apply to become a Filipino once again and thereby have two citizenships, dual citizenships. Kaya po itong batas na binanggit ni Kong Rodriguez, 1925, bolsters our argument na hindi po ang pagbabawal sa dual citizen. Yung binanggit po ni Congressman, again, I'm having a serious moment, ay mga kaso po for public officers. Yung po mga tumatakbo for public office. Kaya po binanggit niya mga barangay, tsaka mga congressman. Pero wala pong enabling law with respect to ordinary citizens. Salamat po.
Thank you, Attorney. The Chair would like to recognize now for his interpellation, Congressman Alfredo Garbin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The established facts, Mr. Chair, is that based on records, Mr. Lopez was born to a Filipino parents, Eugenio Lopez Jr. and Conchita Lau Lopez on October 12, 1952 in Massachusetts, USA. Recognizing a situation in which a Filipino citizen may, without performing any act and as an involuntary consequence of the conflicting of laws of different countries, be also as citizens of another state, it is called the principle of husuli and the principle of hus sanguinis. As I have said earlier, Mr. Chair, the established facts is that Mr. Gabby Lopez was born of Filipino parents in 1952. And the constitution that governed during the time of his birth is the 1935 Constitution. The 1935 Constitution states that if you're born of Filipino father, you are considered as a natural-born Filipino. That is based on the principle of hus sanguinis. He was also born in the United States, and that is an involuntary consequence of conflicting laws wherein, by virtue of his place of birth, he was also considered as an American citizen. Now, our present Constitution does not speak of half Filipino, half American. Ang sinasaad ho sa ating saligang batas ngayon, whether you are a natural-born Filipino or you are naturalized Filipino citizen. Kanina ho, maraming nagtatanong, while he was already here in the Philippines, he still used and continued to use his Philippine passport. Let me just confirm it to Mr. Gabby Lopez. Sir, patuloy ho ba kayong gumamit ng inyong American passport even beyond your issuance of recognition by the Department of Justice?
Magandang umaga po, Kong Garbin. Opo, I use both passports when I travel po.
But in the Constitution, it says that there are ways para mawala o ma-reacquire ang citizenship. Unang-una ho, ang tanong ko sa inyo, Mr. Gabby Lopez, nag-apply ho ba kayo ng naturalization in a foreign country?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Did you ever express renunciation of your Philippine citizenship?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Did you subscribe to an oath of allegiance to support the Constitution and laws of foreign countries?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Did you render service or accept commission in the armed forces of a foreign country?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Where your Philippine citizenship was canceled by any court?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Or where your Philippine citizenship was declared invalid by a competent authority?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Kasi ho, base ho sa mga desisyon ng Korte Suprema, na-mention na rin ho ni Attorney Bautista kanina in the case of Asnar, the court ruled that the mere fact that respondent Osmeña was a holder of a certificate stating that he is an American did not mean that he is no longer a Filipino. That an application for an alien certificate of registration was not tantamount to renunciation of his Philippine citizenship. In the same way, in Mercado versus Manzano and Comelec, it was held that the fact that respondent Manzano was registered as an American citizen in the Bureau of Immigration and Deportation was holding an American passport on April 22, 1997, only a year before he filed the certificate of candidacy for Vice Mayor of Makati, were just assertions of his American nationality before termination of his American citizenship. Also in the case of Valles versus Comelec, GR number 13700, August 9, 2000, the mere fact that private respondent Rosalinda Ibasco Lopez was a holder of an Australian passport and had an alien certificate of registration are not acts constituting an effective renunciation of citizenship and do not militate against her claim of Filipino citizenship. For renunciation to be effectively result in the loss of citizenship, the same must be expressed. Yun nga ho, tinatanong ko kanina si Mr. Gabby Lopez, kasi ang sinasabi ho ng Korte Suprema, for renunciation to effectively result in the loss of citizenship, the same must be expressed. And those are the express acts provided under the Constitution in which kung ikaw nag-apply ng naturalization in a foreign country, or you expressly renounce your Philippine citizenship, or subscribe to an oath of allegiance in other country or foreign country, these are express acts as mentioned by the Supreme Court. So ito po yung mga bagay-bagay na dapat nating ikonsidera. Ang tanong ho, kasi yung konstitusyon natin nagsasabi, Article 16, 1987 of the Constitution, Section 11 states, the ownership and management of mass media shall be limited to citizens of the Philippines. Ang tanong ho ba? Kasi undeniably, Gabby Lopez is a natural-born citizen. But he is also an American citizen by virtue of a usually principle applied in American law. Ang tanong ho ba, whether a dual citizen can own a mass media company. Salamat po. Magandang umaga.
Mr. Lopez or attorney, please respond po.
Mr. Chair, there's no question. I think it was just a manifestation, so I don't think an illicit response from them is needed.
There is a response by Attorney Ayo Bautista po.
Attorney Bautista, you're recognized.
Salamat po. Meron po tayong principles or rules sa statutory construction. Ang ibig sabihin po noon, presuming po na may doubt as to the meaning and intent of the framers or legislators as to a particular provision. Ito po ang sinabi ng Supreme Court sa Chavez versus Judicial and Bar Council. And I quote, "Where the words of a statute are clear, plain, and free from ambiguity, it must be given its literal meaning and applied without attempted interpretation. It is a well-settled principle of constitutional construction that the language employed in the Constitution must be given their ordinary meaning, except where technical terms are employed. As much as possible, the words of the Constitution should be understood in the sense they have in common use." Ngayon po, sino po ba ang nag-i-interpret nitong provision na to, yung nationalization ng mga mass media? Ang SEC po. Kasi magpo-file kayo ng Articles of Incorporation to engage in broadcast media at tinitingnan po ng SEC if you comply with nationalization laws. Kung meron pong foreigner doon, hindi yung papasa sa SEC. Ang isa po pong ahensya na nag-i-effect or nag-i-implement or may jurisdiction sa nationalization laws ay ang DOJ at ang Bureau of Immigration. Ni minsan po, wala kaming narinig na question o reklamo from the SEC or from the DOJ who are vested with the jurisdiction authority and most importantly, the expertise with respect to nationalization law. Wala pong nagsasabi sa amin na kapag dual citizen ka, hindi pwede. Kasi po, ang nakalagay sa Constitution, kailangan Pilipino ka. Wala naman pong nakalagay doon na kailangan Pilipino ka lang. Yun po ang masasabi ko tungkol sa punto na yon. Lahat po ng sinabi ni Congressman Garbin ay tama at sumasang-ayon po ako. Salamat po.
So, Attorney Bautista, you're saying that Mr. Gabby Lopez, Mr. Chairman, that Mr. Gabby Lopez is both Filipino and American. You're admitting
Opo.
that.
Dual citizen po siya.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you po. The Chair would like to recognize now Congressman Caloy Zarate for his interpellation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po sa ating lahat. Hindi ko na ho hahabaan ang aking interpellation, tagat malinaw naman ang mga kasagutan. No? Na-establish na natin dito na si Mr. Lopez nga ay isang natural-born Filipino citizen. And in fact, even as we speak now, I don't think, base doon sa mga sagot, that there is a decision by a competent court saying that he is no longer Filipino. In fact, there is no, sa mga sagot niya kanina, sa lahat ng mga kapamaraanan kung saan ma-renounce ang citizenship, ay hindi rin nagawa. No? Kaya, sa puntong ito, sa pagkakataong ito, malinaw na si Mr. Lopez ay isang Pilipino. Then, if that is so, it is also very clear to this representation, Mr. Chairs, na siya ay may karapatan ding maging bahagi ng kumpanya ng ABS CBN. Dahil malinaw naman ang nakalatag sa ating konstitusyon at tama ang naturan kanina ni Attorney Ayo. Article 16, General Provisions, Section 11. Ang binanggit lang doon, the ownership and management of mass media shall be limited to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations, cooperatives, or associations wholly owned and managed by such citizens. There's no distinction having been laid down in our Constitution. And as already mentioned kanina, sa kasalukuyan, pinapayagan sa ating batas ang dual citizenship. So if you are a dual citizen, it means that you are also a Filipino, but you are also holder of a foreign passport or a citizenship of a foreign, another foreign country. So I think malinaw yon, Mr. Chairs. Kaya hindi ko na magpapalawig doon. Kung meron man tayong question, bakit ang dual citizen ay nagmamay-ari ng isang media company na under sa ating Constitution ay sinabi doon Filipino citizen, ay probably the duty of this Congress to craft a law if you want to. But habang ito ang kaayusan na umiiral ngayon, na walang distinction ang sinasabi ang ating saligang batas at pinapayagan ang dual citizenship. Lalo higit, siya ay natural-born Filipino because sa dual citizenship, Mr. Chair, ay pinapayagan lang sa isang natural-born Filipino. At kung walang pagdududa na siya ay natural-born Filipino, ay hindi natin pwedeng sabihin na hindi bawal, habang walang batas na nagbabawal. Kaya, just to confirm, no, 2 questions to Mr. Lopez, just for the record. Are you a natural-born Filipino?
Magandang umaga po, Congressman. Opo, Your Honor.
Did you renounce your being a Filipino, a natural-born Filipino?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Salamat po.
Thank you. The chair would like to recognize now.
Mr. Chair, may I really strictly manifest? I'm so sorry to do this, but since our Congressman Zarate has said that we need an enabling law to make sure that there is no conflict of interest, I really suggest that in aid of legislation, and this is one of the reasons why we can talk about this topic here, is for the Secretary to study the law that we should create in aid of this legislation as this is conducted as a meeting in aid of legislation to craft a law simply amending the part where there should not be dual citizenship so that in future cases, Mr. Chair, we do not have and be labored with this type of topic. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a manifestation.
Noted on your manifestation, Congressman Albano. The chair would like to recognize now Congressman Marcoleta for his interpellation.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Magandang umaga po, Ginoong Gabby Lopez III. At ipagpaumanhin po ninyo na hahaba po ng konti ang pagtatanong po namin sa inyo. Kanina po, ng mga naunang nagtanong sa inyo, si Congresswoman Diane Bautista, tinanong po niya kayo, kaugnay po ng pagkakakuha ninyo ng identification card bilang isang Pilipino, kung kayo po ay gumamit ng alien fingerprint card. Natatandaan ko po, sinagot ninyo, hindi po ninyo matandaan. Tama po ba yun, Ginoong Gabby Lopez?
Magandang umaga po, Congressman Marcoleta.
Opo.
Opo. I don't recall what the process was involved in 2001.
Salamat po. At dahil hindi nga po ninyo matandaan, tinanong po ninyo ang inyong abogado, si Attorney Bautista, kung baka naman siya po ay natatandaan niya. Ganon din po ang sinagot niya, hindi rin po niya matandaan. Tama po ba yun, Attorney Bautista?
Tama po yun, Congressman Marcoleta.
Na hindi po ninyo natatandaan, ano po?
Kasi po, hindi po
Opo,
ako
yun lang po.
abogado.
Hindi po ninyo natatandaan.
Hindi po ako abogado humawak na yun eh. Pero sinabi po sa akin
Salamat
na
po.
malamang meron.
Meron po kasi akong kopya ng alien fingerprint card. Medyo malabo lamang po. At totoo po, ito ipakikita ko po sa... Bibigyan ko po ng kopya ang ating committee secretary para makita niya po. Only to refresh the memory of Mr. Gabby Lopez na sila po ay gumamit ng alien fingerprint card. For the record lamang po, Mr. Chair.
Maaari niyo po bang ipakita sa amin ngayon, Congressman Marcoleta?
For the record, Mr. Chair, I will approach the chairman to show this particular document.
Yes, Congressman Marcoleta.
May I request, Mr. Chair, that that particular document should be shown also to the President of ABS CBN.
COMSEC is directed to show the document to the side of ABS CBN. (1996)
Mr. Chairman, just a very short manifestation. I have gone over the document and I saw that it was a document coming from the Bureau of Immigration. Unfortunately, it was not a certified true copy, and therefore to establish the authenticity of that document, may we request a certified true copy coming from the Bureau of Immigration.
COMSEC is requested to get certified true copies from the Bureau of Immigration.
Mr. Chair, with that request, I would like to request further that even the fingerprint cards which indicate that it was utilized, that fingerprint cards, Mr. Chair, would also show that it was an alien form.
Mr. Chair,
Congressman Zarate.
in line with the manifestations of our colleagues, subject then to the proper authentication of these documents coming from the Bureau of Immigration.
Salamat po, Mr. Chair. Pwede na po ba akong magpatuloy?
May we, subject to the authentication, because if it is not yet authenticated, my question now is, are we going to allow questions being propounded on that document not yet properly authenticated?
Mr. Chair, I am no longer asked question on this particular document. Ginawa ko lamang po ito to refresh the memory of the lawyer as well as Mr. Gabby Lopez na talaga pong meron po na ginamit na alien fingerprint card. Pero
Yes, Congressman Marcoleta, you still have the floor.
Hindi ko
Please
na po
continue
gagamitin
with
to.
your question.
Kanina po kasi, tinanong po kayo ni Congressman Boyeng Rimulya, Mr. Lopez, kung kayo po ay kalahating Pilipino o kalahating Amerikano. Ang totoo po nun, meron pong underlying significance po yung tanong na yun. We should not forget that the very issue here, Mr. Lopez and Attorney Bautista, is Article 16, Section 11 of the Philippine Constitution. Ang totoo po nito, hindi natin paglalabanan yung issue na kayo po ay American citizen at saka Pilipino pa. Talaga pong napakaswerte po ninyo at hindi po ninyo kasalanan yon. Totoo lahat po ang sinabi ng mga abogadong nagsalita na kayo po talaga ay isang American citizen at isang Pilipino. Wala pong debate doon. Nung kayo po ay hindi pa nagme-may-ari ng ABS CBN, wala pa pong problema yun. Nagkaroon po ng problema nung kayo po ay nagkaroon na ng pag-aari o kasama na po kayo sa pamamahala ng ABS-CBN sapagkat isasangguni po natin ito dun sa Article 16, Section 11, kung ito po ay nalalabag. Attorney Bautista, this is a very honest question to you. Did Article 16, Section 11 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution contemplate a situation where the Filipino citizen mentioned in that particular article should also be another citizen of another country?
Tinatanong po ninyo aking opinion? Opo, pwede po. Wala pong nagbabawal doon.
Hindi po, ang sinasabi ko po
Wala
ganito.
po yan.
Ganito po, para malinawan po tayo. Ang sinasabi po kasi doon, yung pagmemayari at pamamahala ng isang mass media company ay limitado lang sa mga Pilipino. Wala po sanang problema doon kung si Ginoong Gabby Lopez ay Pilipino lang, hindi pa siya Amerikano. Yung tanong po kanina ni Congressman Boying Rimulya, nandito po yung pagpapakahulugan dito eh. We will have a problem processing that particular issue. Kasi po ang sinasabi lamang doon, tanging Pilipino lamang. Paano po natin isasangkot ang kanyang pagiging American citizen within the meaning of that constitutional provision? Tandaan po natin, Attorney Bautista, hindi po kasalanan ni Ginoong Gabby Lopez kung siya po ay napanganak sa Amerika. Hindi po rin niya kasalanan napanganak sa Pilipinong mga magulang. Kaya dalawa po nga yun eh. Ang nagiging problema po natin dito, ang saligang batas, matibay ang kanyang paninindigan na Pilipino lamang. Pati nga po korporasyon, kooperatiba, asosasyon na magme-may-ari at mamamahala nito, kinakailangan ding wholly owned and managed by such citizens. Kinakailangan po kasi palagi tayong gumagalang sa probisyang saligang batas. Ngayon po, balik po ako doon sa tanong, kalahating Amerikano po ba kayo o kalahating Pilipino? Bakit po palaging doon ako pumupunta? Ngayon po kasi, pinaninindiganan ninyo, talagang kayo po ay Pilipino. Kahit kailan hindi nyo ni-renounce ito. Mr. Gabby Lopez, kung talaga pong nasa puso ninyo ang init ng isang pagka-Pilipino, patriotismo, bakit po naman hinintay po ninyo ang 48 taon para magpa-recognize po kayo bilang Pilipino?
Kong Marcoleta, last question na po yan. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, pwede pang may second round po ba ito?
Palista lang po para sa next round po. Kung kulang pa po yung mga tanong.
Opo, pero pag ano po, kung hindi ko matapos kasi nagsisimula lang po ako eh. Pwede po mong sa second round po ako.
Opo, papalista po namin.
Salamat po. So
Thank
yung
you.
tanong ko pong naiwan, bakit po hinintay ni Ginoong Lopez ang 48 taon bago niya naisip na kailangan pala niya ng isang identification certificate at ma-recognize siyang Pilipino? Ang tanong pong ito ay para kay Ginoong Gabby Lopez. At pagkatapos, iiwanan ko pong tanong ito, Mr. Chair, kung ito pong pagiging Pilipino niya ay automatic. Automatic po eh. Bakit kakailanganin mo po na magpa-recognize ka in 2000, in year 2000? Yung pong dalawang tanong muna po na yun kasi wala na po akong panahon, Mr. Gabby Lopez. Salamat po.
Thank you, Kong Marcoleta. Mr. Lopez, pwede po niyo sagutin.
Yes, salamat po. No? With regards to the second question, it was really to avail myself of a passport that I asked for that recognition. I don't understand the issue of 48 years. What does the 48 years refer to, Congressman Marcoleta?
Ang inyong pong rason lang ay para lamang makapag-apply kayo ng Philippine passport. So it took you 48 years para lamang po makakuha kayo ng Philippine passport. Kaya po naisip ninyo na magpetisyon kayo, makakuha kayo ng recognition na kayo po'y Pilipino.
That is correct. Congressman Marcoleta.
Kong Marcoleta, pwede po siguro natin kunin ang opinion ng DOJ. Kasama rin po natin sila sa Zoom para baka bigay din ng clarification sa inyong mga tanong.
Meron pong isang naiwan na tanong, Mr. Chair. Kung ito po ang pagiging Pilipino po ninyo, Mr. Lopez, ay automatic naman. At totoo naman pong kayo natural born citizen having been born to Filipino parents. Ito po ang espiritu ng Hughes Sanguinis. Automatic naman po pala. Bakit kailangan po pa ninyong magpa-recognize? Dahil lamang po doon sa issue po ng pagkuha ng Philippine passport, hindi po ba? Sinagot niyo po ito sa tanong po kanina ni Congressman Rodriguez. Dahil lamang po sa Philippine passport, kaya kinakailangan po ninyong magpa-recognize bilang Pilipino. Yun po ba?
Opo, Congressman Marcoleta.
Salamat
and,
po.
My lawyer, Ayo Bautista, will add additional points.
Second round po ako mamaya, Mr. Chair. Wala na po akong panahon.
Salamat po, Congressman Marcoleta, sa mga tanong ninyo.
Attorney,
Yes, sir.
brief response lang po and then kunin natin yung sagot
Brief.
po ng DOJ.
Brief. Nagpapasalamat ako dahil ngayon maliwanag na inaamin ni Congressman Marcoleta na Pilipino si Gabby Lopez. At inaamin din naman namin na Amerikano siya. Yung po sinasabi na bakit po ninyo hiningi yung Certificate of Recognition.
Mr. Chair, point of order, hindi ko po tinanong si Attorney Bautista. Yung pong tanong ko po ay kay Mr.
Yes,
Gabby Lopez.
nasagot na po, Attorney, ni Mr. Gabby Lopez yung tanong po ni Congressman Marcoleta. So ngayon, dito na po tayo sa DOJ. You have the floor.
Salamat po.
Mr. Chairman, may I turn over the floor to our USEC, Emeline Aglipay Villar, who is with us via Zoom.
Yusek Villar, you are recognized.
Magandang umaga po sa inyong lahat. Salamat po, Mr. Chair. Una po, tungkol po doon sa pagbigay ng konfirmasyon ng DOJ sa citizenship ni Mr. Gabby Lopez, hindi po ito pamamaraan ng pag-grant o pag-perfect ng citizenship. Dahil po, siya po ay merong magulang, both father and mother, na Filipino citizen. Kaya po, sa kanyang pagkapanganak, siya po ay isang Filipino citizen. At tama rin po, dahil siya ay napanganak sa United States, ay siya din po ay isang American citizen. By birth, both Filipino and American citizen. Ang kanya pong paggamit ng kanyang US passport ay hindi po dahilan para mawala po ang kanyang Filipino citizenship. At ang hindi naman po niya pagkakaroon ng Philippine passport ay hindi rin isang dahilan na hindi siya maging Pilipino. Dahil katulad nga po ng nabanggit ko kanina, sa kanya pong pagkapanganak na may Pilipinong ama at Pilipinang ina, ay nagbibigay sa kanya ng pagka-Pilipino niya o ng kanyang Philippine citizenship.
Thank you po, Yusek. The Chair would like to recognize now Congressman Barzaga.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chairman. Unang-una, Mr. Chairman, isang malaking karangalan na ang isang taong katulad ko na pangkaraniwan lamang ay mabibigyan ng pagkakataon na makapagtanong at makapagpatanong at makapaglinaw sa mga isyu na hinaharap ng ABS CBN pati na kay Ginoong Gabby Lopez. Bilang ordinaryong Pilipino na pinanganak sa lalawigan ng Cavite, mahalaga sa akin ang citizenship. It is the oath of allegiance of a person to his country. And for the record, in 1975, during the period of martial law, and also in 1983, bagamat ang tatlong kapatid ko ay nasa Amerika at nakatanggap ako ng 2 petisyon para maging immigrant at pumunta sa Amerika, notwithstanding that it is a period of martial law, I chose to remain in the Philippines. At maraming nagtatanong sa akin, Pili Barzaga, bakit sinayang mo ang pagkakataon? At isa ang sagot ko, I am a Filipino, kung ano man ang maitutulong ko sa aking bansa, yon ay gagawin ko. Ginoong Lopez, ipinanganak ka sa Amerika noong 1952 sa Boston, Massachusetts. Ang una kong tanong, hanggang kailan ka tumigil sa Amerika bago ka bumalik sa Pilipinas?
Magandang umaga po, Congressman Barzaga. Thank you for that question. Alam mo po, yung tatay ko ay nag-aaral sa Boston noon at napanganak ako habang nag-aaral siya sa Harvard Business School. So, in effect, I stayed in America, I believe it was less than a year. So, talaga dito ako lumaki sa Pilipinas. I was only born there and within the space of 1 year, we had returned to the Philippines. The only time I have been in America for any extended period of time, other than my birth, was during martial law when my father and I escaped the prison of Marcos and escaped to America. So we came back immediately after the EDSA revolution. So other than those periods, I have been living in the Philippines all my life.
Ang katanungan ko lamang po ay kailan ang unang pagkakataon na kayo ay pumunta sa Pilipinas mula nang kayo ay ipikanak. At ang sabi nyo, halos pagkalipas lamang ng 1 taon. Tama po ba?
Opo,
Okay.
Your Honor.
At sapagkat bumalik kayo sa Pilipinas, kinakailangan meron kayong passport at siguro ang passport na ginamit nyo ay US passport. Tama po ba?
Hindi ko po maalala yun, Your Honor, but I suppose it was a US passport.
Ano sagot?
Opo, Your Honor.
US passport. At nang bumalik kayo sa Pilipinas, 1 year after your birth, bumalik ba ulit kayo sa Amerika?
As I said, I went back to America to go to college, Your Honor.
More or less ilang taon yon sa una niyong pagdating sa Pilipinas?
I believe I was 19 years old, Your Honor.
19 years old. Matatandaan nyo ba kung gaano katagal ang validity ng US passport?
Hindi ko po maalala.
Malaman. Hindi nyo matandaan. Pero nang bumalik kayo sa Amerika, nang kayo ay 19 na taon na gulang na, ang ginamit nyo sa pagbalik sa Amerika ay US passport.
Hindi ko po maalala kung US passport ang ginamit ko po.
Nililinaw lang po natin para sa kapakanan ng ating mga mamamayan. Kanina po ay napag-usapan dito, kasama na ang paglilinaw ng aming mga kasamang kinatawan na nagkaroon lamang kayo ng Philippine passport noon 2001. Tama bang sabihin na hanggang noong 2001, wala kayong Philippine passport?
Hindi po. It is possible that my parents got me a Philippine passport during the times that I was in the Philippines. Pero hindi ko po maalala.
Bumalik kayo sa Amerika na kayo ay 19 na taon na gulang na, ano ang ginawa nyo sa Amerika?
Nag-aral po ako, Your Honor.
Ganong katagal po kayo nag-aral sa Amerika?
4 na taon po, Your Honor.
So, himigit kumulang, ang inyong pag-aaral ay umabot ng 4 na taon, 23 taon kayo nang matapos ang inyong pag-aaral. Nang kayo ba ay makatapos sa Amerika, bumalik ba kayo sa bansang Pilipinas?
Opo, Your Honor.
At
Congressman
pagbalik
Barzaga,
nyo sa
sorry po.
bansang Pilipinas,
Last question po tayo, Congressman Barzaga.
may I just be permitted to finish this line of questioning?
Yes, last
Okay.
na po. Thank you.
About this issue. Nung kayo ay bumalik sa Pilipinas, ang gamit nyo rin ay US passport when you were already 23 years of age.
I cannot recall, Your Honor.
Okay, you cannot recall. Noong bumalik kayo when you were already 23 years of age, and that would be approximately in 1965. umalis ba ulit kayo sa Pilipinas at bumalik sa Amerika?
Opo, Your Honor.
Natatandaan niyo po ba kung kailan kayo bumalik sa Amerika pagkatapos niyong dumating sa Pilipinas noong 1965?
I think I have we have the dates wrong. No? 1952, I was in the Philippines 19 years. So I went to America in 1970. I graduated from college in 1974. Tumakas kami sa Amerika in 1977, and I went to take my master's in Boston in 1978, and I came back in 1986 po.
So,
After the
sa madaling
EDSA
sabi, tama ba yung sagot, yung appreciation namin kanina na pagkalipas ng 4 na taon ng inyong pag-aaral sa Amerika, bumalik na kayo sa Pilipinas?
Opo, Your Honor.
And that would be approximately in 1965, sapagkat ang edad nyo noon ay halos 23 years old. Sapagkat ang sabi nyo, 19 na taong kayong gulang nang kayo ay bumalik sa Amerika.
Opo, but it's not 1965 po. It's 1975 po, Your Honor.
1975 nang kayo ay bumalik sa Pilipinas.
Sa Amerika. I was 23 years old.
Okay,
1952 to
1975 nang kayo ay bumalik sa Amerika.
1975.
Okay.
No, I went back in 1977 yata po.
At bumalik kayo?
Bumalik ako sa Amerika.
19
Tumakas po ako kasama ng tatay ko and si Senator Osmeña.
In 1975?
1977.
1977.
Opo.
At gano'ng katagal naman kayo tumigil sa Amerika mula noong 1977?
Until the EDSA revolution po, Your Honor.
And the EDSA revolution was in 1986, February to be exact.
I returned in July 1986 po.
1986. Nang kayo ay nasa Amerika, kayo ba ay nakabili ng anumang property sa Amerika, katulad ng kotse, katulad ng lupa, o anumang ari-arian?
Opo, Your Honor.
Opo. At sapagkat kabisado niyo naman ang mga kontrata, bilang isang businessman, certainly sa mga kontratang nagpapatunay na kayo ay may binling ari-arian sa Amerika, ay sasabihin nyo ang inyong personal circumstances. Tama po ba?
Opo, Your Honor.
At siguro sapagkat kayo ay nasa Amerika, holder of a Philippine passport, ang lagi nyong nilalagay sa description ng inyong citizenship ay American citizen.
Opo, Your Honor.
Okay.
Kong PD, okay na po.
Not yet.
Pakirap up na po. Pakirap up na po.
Well,
Kong PD.
anyway, unlike my fellow congressmen, I did not make any lengthy manifestation nor any quotes pertaining to the decision of the Supreme Court. I'm merely asking for factual information. Kasi itong purpose natin factual. When it comes to the legal, then let our lawyers handle that. Okay, yun lamang. So, I'll continue. Please. Sino ba ang susunod sa akin?
Congressman Acosta.
Okay. For a while. Kung nandito lamang si Congressman Acosta, hingin ko na sana. Well, anyway, let me continue. Sa inyong pagkakatanda, ilang US passport ang inyong nagamit sa matagal niyong pag-aantay, pagtigil sa bansang Amerika?
In 1975 to 1986, I did not need a US passport because I never traveled outside of America po.
Pakiulit po, between
1975 and 1986. I did not need my US passport because I did not travel outside the United States.
Pero noong 1986, nang kayo ay bumalik sa Pilipinas, ang ginamit nyo ay US passport. Tama po ba?
Opo, Your Honor.
Well, sinasabi ng aking mga kasamahan katina, pati na ng inyong abogado, na kayo ay isang natural-born citizen because your father, under the 1973 Constitution, is a Filipino citizen. Ang tanong ko po lamang ay, kailan ang unang pagkakataon na nalaman nyo na kayo kahit na pinanganak sa Amerika ay isang Filipino citizen?
Your Honor, all my life I have considered myself a Filipino citizen. I grew up in the Philippines. My father was a Filipino, his father was a Filipino. We are 7 generations of Lopezes living in the Philippines.
Well, as a matter of fact, your uncle, who happens to be the brother of your father, was elected for several positions, including vice presidency during the time of President Marcos.
Opo, Your Honor.
Okay. Ngayon, you admitted at sinabi mo sa amin na ikaw ay nag-aral sa Amerika. Doon ka nagkuleyo. Doon ka tumigil. Sa Amerika ba, ang isang Filipino citizen ay hindi pwedeng mag-apply ng Philippine passport before the consulate sa Amerika?
Hindi ko po alam, Your Honor.
Hindi sumagi sa iyong isipan na itanong sa iyong mga magulang, pati na sa iyong mga kamag-anak sa Amerika, na ako ay Pilipino, our family tradition is in the service of the Filipino nation, kaya ang gusto ko ay maging Pilipino at gustong kumuha ng Philippine passport kahit na ako ay nandito sa bansang Amerika.
Your Honor, after 1972, it was martial law. My family properties were taken over by Mr. Marcos. How could I go to an embassy owned and controlled by Mr. Marcos and ask for a Philippine passport?
Well, what about bumalik ka sa Pilipinas, anong petsa?
July 1986.
July 1986. And you know, at nalalaman mo bilang isang katotohanan na ang Marcos ay nawala na as early as February 1986. So meron kang sapat na pagkakataon mula Marso, Abril, Mayo, up to July na mag-apply ng Philippine passport sa Amerika. Pero hindi mo ginawa sapagkat hindi mo alam.
Opo, Your Honor. It was not
Okay.
the primary.
Maraming
cause
salamat.
of my-
Mr. Chairman, one last point. Sinabi mo kanina at sinabi rin ni Attorney Ayo na noong 2000, nag-apply ka ng Certificate of Recognition as a Filipino citizen. And perhaps Attorney Ayo can answer my question.
Attorney Ayo, you're recognized.
Opo, humingi po siya ng petition for recognition sa Bureau of Immigration.
As a lawyer, based on our practice, whenever we apply for a petition, kapag tayo ay nag-apply ng petition, the petition might be granted, the petition may not be granted. Tama po ba? As a matter of fact, ang sabi nga ng kaibigan kong si Edsa Lagman, the recognition is an affirmation that he is a Filipino citizen. At nabanggit mo din kanina, unfortunately, you were not the lawyer of Mr. Gabby Lopez in the year 2001.
Opo.
Okay. I am an ordinary Filipino citizen. Ang mga magulang ko ay Filipino. I was born in 1950, 2 years earlier than the birth of Mr. Lopez. And therefore, my citizenship is being governed by the 1935 Constitution. Kapag nag-apply ako ng passport, katulad ng ordinaryong Pilipino, sapagkat kami ay natural-born citizen, mag-apply lamang kami ng application sa Department of Foreign Affairs. We have just to show the birth certificate showing our parents together with their nationality. As a lawyer, kung ganyan ang ginawa ni Mr. Lopez at hindi na nag-file ng petition for recognition, mai-issue ba siya ng Philippine passport?
Hindi po ako eksperto dalubhasa sa immigration law, Congressman PD, no? Pero bilang Pilipino, he is entitled to a Philippine passport as long as he complies with all the formal requirements. Ngayon kung kailangan po o makakatulong ang Certificate of Acknowledgement or Recognition ng Bureau of Immigration, kung ako po ang abogado niya, sasabihin ko, kumuha po tayo nun. At malinaw naman po doon sa binasa ko na yung Bureau of Immigration Law, at ito po ay kinonfirm ng taga-DOJ a few minutes ago, it is for any legal purpose. Kaya kahit ano pong dahilan, kung gustuhin ko na gamitin yung petition for recognition ko, wala akong irrelevant na ho kung ano yung dahilan eh.
Okay. Well, on record, and as submitted during the interpellation, the first time that Mr. Lopez, ang kauna-unahang pagkakataon na nag-apply ng Philippine passport si Mr. Lopez ay in 2001. Tama po ba?
Yun po ang intindi ko.
Okay. Maraming
Kasi
salamat.
Kong PD, tayo po, nung bata po tayo, when we were minors, kung kumukuha ng passport yung magulang natin, hindi po natin alam naman kung American o Filipino passport ang hiningi ng magulang natin. Basta sasabihin lang sa'yo, o lumabas tayo sa airport, pumunta tayo sa ganon.
Si Mr. Lopez bumalik sa Pilipinas noong 1986. Ang katanungan ko, mula noong 1986 up to the year 2000, mayroon bang mga dokumento o articles of incorporation na si Mr. Lopez ay incorporator?
Kong PD, sorry po, last na po talaga. Kasi binigay na rin po ni Kong Hila Costa yung oras sa inyo, pero patapos na rin po. Thank you.
Malamang po.
And being a seasoned lawyer, Attorney Ayo Bautista, of course, the nationality of the incorporators are identified at sinasabi doon sa Articles of Incorporation.
Opo.
Pwede ba natin tanungin si Mr. Lopez, doon sa mga Articles of Incorporation na siya ay incorporator at yung mga corporation ay na-incorporate between 1986 to 2001, ano ang nationality na kanyang nilagay?
Filipino po, Your Honor.
Filipino. Okay. Katulad ni Marcoleta, I am reserving the right to have a second round in the subsequent hearings. Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you,
Chairman.
Kong PD.
Salamat, Mr. Lopez and Attorney Ayo.
Attorney, thank you. Okay na po. Para po sa kalaman ng committee natin, kaya po tumagal si Kong PD, binigay po ni Congressman Hila Costa yung oras niya kay Kong PD. Nagpilista na po siya ng second round na rin. So ngayon, Chair would like to recognize Congressman Salo for his interpellation. Congressman Salo? Kung wala po, balikan na natin si Kong Salo. Punta na po tayo kay Congresswoman Ramirez Sato.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. All my questions have been asked and have been answered. I would just want to make a short manifestation. The 1935 Constitution vested upon Mr. Gabby Lopez a perfect and complete Philippine citizenship. Likewise, by virtue and operation of law, he was vested in American citizenship by the U.S. Constitution. The grant of Filipino citizenship upon Mr. Gabby Lopez by the 1935 Constitution, as declared by the Undersecretary of Justice Villar, is perfect and complete. Nothing can remove that grant from him except by an overt act of renunciation. Mr. Gabby Lopez stated under oath that he never renounced his Philippine citizenship. Tama po yung sinabi ni Congressman Marcoleta, napakaswerteng tao si Mr. Gabby Lopez. And in addition to that, Mr. Chairman, the administrative requirement for a certificate of recognition as Philippine citizenship does not affect that complete grant of perfect citizenship upon him. Hindi po niya kasalanan na merong requirement ang ating pamahalaan na bago ka mabigyan ng pasaporte bilang isang Filipino citizen, ay ikaw ay magpo-comply sa lahat ng requirement. So, ang aking lamang pong tanong sana ay address sa Department of Justice. Ano po ang epekto ng administrative requirement na ito na humihingi ng Certificate of Recognition as a Filipino citizen bago bigyan ng pasaporte ang isang Pilipino? Yun lamang po, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Lopez.
I believe the question was to the Justice Department.
Yes, Mr. Chair, it was directed to the Justice Department.
Yusek Villar, you're recognized po.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Ang sagot po doon ay confirmatory lang po in nature at nagbigay ng sertifikasyon ng Department of Justice. Hindi po ito grant of citizenship, hindi po ito dahilan para i-perfect ang citizenship. Ito lang po ay confirmatory.
Salamat po, Mr. Chairman. Salamat po, Undersecretary Villar. So, klaro po na itong Certificate of Recognition ay binibigay niyo lamang sa isang natural-born citizen or talagang recognized as a citizen of the Philippines.
Opo. So, kapag nag-submit po ng mga dokumento para mapatunayan po ang citizenship, whether naturalized or natural-born, ay saka po ini-issuehan ng sertifikasyon.
Ito po ay nagpapatunay na siya ay isang tunay na Pilipino. Totoo po yan?
Maraming ibang bagay na pwede pong magpatunay din ito, pero isa ito sa mga pwedeng ibilang na ebidensya, pero hindi lang po ito.
Maraming salamat po. That will be all. No further question, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. The Chair would like to recognize now Congressman Maceda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Do you hear me?
Malinaw po, please proceed.
Yes, thank you. Magandang umaga po, Mr. Chair, sa Chairman ng Chairman Alvarado and yourself and all the colleagues and all our resource persons. Thank you for the opportunity. Alam po natin na marami po tayong hihingay na issue dito whether or not the applicant corporation has all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications para mabigyan po sila ng prangkisa na 25 taon. Medyo mahaba-haba pong prangkisa. Pero iisa-isahin natin to at sa ngayon nakafocus po tayo dun sa citizenship requirement po ng pagiging kung may-ari ka ng mass media corporation. At ang tao po na ngayon ay ating natanong ay si Mr. Gabby Lopez. So, I'll be very straightforward kasi nung natanong na rin naman ng mga congressman bago ako yung mga tanong ko. So, can I ask Mr. Gabby Lopez, number one, are his parents natural-born Filipino citizens?
Magandang umaga po, Congressman Maceda.
Yes.
The answer to your question is opo, Your Honor.
So, are you a natural-born Filipino citizen under the 1935 Constitution?
Opo, Your Honor.
And have you renounced in any manner your Filipino citizenship?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
So in your heart and in your mind, the time you were born, Pinoy ka.
Opo, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. Mr. Chairman, I have no further questions. I'd just like to say that I agree with some of the congressmen who appeared and interpellated before me that the reason of Mr. Lopez being born of Filipino parents under the 1935 Constitution when he is a natural-born Filipino. In fact, even if he were born under the 1973 or 87 constitutions, he's still a natural-born Filipino because of the law, the Latin maxim jus sanguinis, which means that it is by nationality or ethnicity of your parents that determines your nationality. However, since Mr. Lopez also born in the States, marami rin akong kaibigan na ganun, may kamag-anak rin ako na Pinoy ang magulang pero pinanganak sa Amerika. By reason of the law of the soil, the Latin maxim jus soli, he is also an American citizen. So, dual citizen siya. And I believe that the laws that we have right now, the fact that he is a natural-born Filipino citizen, even if he is a dual citizen, means na he can be an owner of a mass media corporation. It is true na meron mga ibang posisyon tulad ng pagtakbo sa local government, certain positions na if you are a dual citizen, you have to renounce your foreign citizenship bago ka tumakbo. Because otherwise, pwede siya maging basis ng disqualification kahit manalo ka. But in this case, siguro kung gusto nating mas maliwanag kung ano ba talaga ang pwede pagdating sa pagiging owner ng mass media, what we mean by being purely Filipino ang ownership, then in my mind, in my humble opinion, then pwede natin pong palitan ng batas sa mga darating na panahon. So that's all, Mr. President, as regards this issue. Now, I know that the applicant corporation has a lot of other issues to answer, and I will listen to each and every issue and reserve my right to interpolate and make my judgment and opinion whether ABS CBN has all the qualifications and none of the disqualifications and violations, or whether in the later issues that will be raised against them, they will be shown to have violated any provision. But as regards this particular issue, I rest my case, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much. Thank you, dear colleagues.
Thank you, Congressman Maceda. Before we move on to the next interpellator, the Chair would like to remind the Bureau of Immigration to submit all the documents requested po kanina na certified true copy sa committee. Thank you. We now move on next to Congressman...
Mr. Chairman,
Kong Mike.
just a quick request also. If we can get the copies of the financial statements of the ABS CBN, which includes the ownership structure and also the PDRs, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Sa ABS, pakisubmit na lang po. Thank you. Next is Congressman Paduano, combined with Congressman Bordado. Hindi po kasi makapasok si Kong Paduano, so pinasa niya na lang time and questions niya kay Congressman Bordado. Congressman Bordado, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Narinig ko na po yung mga pahayag ni Congressman Edsel Lagman, Congressman Rufus Rodriguez, at Congressman Carlos Zarate. So ibig sabihin, Mr. Chairman, maliwanag na natural-born Filipino citizen si Mr. Lopez. And malinaw din po ang pahayag ng ating Department of Justice Undersecretary Emeline Aglipay Villar tungkol po sa citizenship ni Mr. Gabby Lopez. At narinig po natin ang kanyang sinabi na categorically natural-born Filipino citizen si Mr. Gabby Lopez. Ngayon, Mr. Chairman, may I address my question to Mr. Gabby Lopez?
Please
Mr.
proceed
Chairman?
po. Please proceed.
Uulitin ko po yung yung isang tanong na medyo critical. Mr. Gabby Lopez, have you ever renounced your Filipino citizenship?
Magandang umaga po, Kong Bordado. The answer is no, Your Honor.
So, Mr. Chairman, maliwanag po na sinabi ulit ni Mr. Lopez na hindi niya ni-renounce ang kanyang Filipino citizenship. So, maliwanag din po na hindi niya sinasabing naging Amerikano siya, although dual citizenship ang kanyang hawak ngayon. So malinaw na po, Mr. Chairman, based on the pronouncements made by my colleagues, based on the pronouncement made by the Department of Justice itself through our former colleague and now the DOJ Undersecretary Emeline Aglipay Villar, na natural-born Filipino citizen si Mr. Gabby Lopez. Ngayon, Mr. Chairman, may pinakiusap sa akin si Congressman Caraps Paduano dahil nahihirapan po siya sa internet na we may as well invite some members of the 1987 Constitutional Commission to give inputs and insights into the real spirit of the 1987 Constitution, Mr. Chairman. I believe medyo tama po ang suggestion po ni Congressman Paduano na kung pwede po na ma-invite po natin ang some members of the CONCOM of 1987 para mag-share sila ng mga insights sa mga questions regarding the provisions of the 1987 Constitution.
Noted po, Congressman Bordado. We will try to invite sa next hearing natin kung meron tayong appear dito or kahit sa Zoom man lang.
So, as a final pronouncement, sinasabi ko ngayon na malinaw po na natural-born Filipino citizen si Mr. Gabby Lopez. So maraming salamat po, Mr. Chairman. Thank you very much.
Thank you po, Congressman Bordado. We now move on to Congressman Fortun for his interpellation. Nakamute pa po, Kong Lawrence. Paki-unmute muna si Kong Fortun.
Naririnig po ba ako?
Okay na po.
Maraming salamat, Mr. Chair. Mabilis po ito, hindi po ako magbibigay ng opinion, diretsahang tanong, sana diretsahan din ang mga sagot. Para po kay Mr. Gabby Lopez, unang tanong, kayo po ay ipinanganak sa Amerika sa mga Pilipinong magulang. Noong kayo po ay kumuha ng American passport, kayo po ba ay inobliga o na-require ng US Immigration na i-abandona ang inyong Philippine citizenship?
Magandang umaga po, Kong Fortune. Hindi po, Your Honor.
Sinabihan po ba kayo, Mr. Chair, sinabihan po ba kayo ng US Immigration na kayo ay hindi maaaring mabigyan ng pasaporte dahil kayo ay Filipino citizen din?
Hindi po, Your Honor.
Noong 2001 po, nung kayo ay humingi ng recognition of citizenship mula sa Bureau of Immigration, naitanong ba sa inyo kung meron kayong kasalukuyang US passport noong panahon na yon?
I don't think so, Your Honor. I don't recall. Perhaps my lawyer will...
Di ako mawak.
Oo.
Ang ibig niyo po bang sabihin, hindi alam ng Bureau of Immigration o ng DOJ noong panahon na yon na holder kayo ng US passport?
Hindi ko po alam.
Sa nakatuwid po, kung hindi man nila alam, naging issue ba ito? Naging issue ba sa inyo o sa kanila ang inyong pagiging holder ng US passport? Kung kayo po ay holder ng US passport, hindi ba kayo nila bibigyan ng recognition bilang Filipino citizen?
Hindi ko po alam. Your Honor, maybe your indulgence. Perhaps we can ask the Undersecretary, Department of Justice to respond to that particular question.
Yusek Villar, you're recognized. Yusek?
Opo, hinintay ko lang po, Mr. Chair, na ma-unmute ako.
You're recognized. Thank you.
Pagdating po sa pag-apply ng confirmation of citizenship, hindi po kinakailangan tingnan kung meron pasaporte ng ibang citizen ng ibang bansa ang nag-a-apply. Kailangan lang pong patunayan tulad ng ginawa po ni Mr. Gabby Lopez na meron siyang ama na Pilipino at ganun din na napakita din niya na meron siyang ina na Pilipina. At yun lang po ang nakasaad sa Constitution, basta't mapatunayan po yun under the 1935 Constitution kung saan yun ang fundamental law in place nung panahon na napanganak si Mr. Lopez. Section 1, 3 of Article 6 na pag meron kang ama na Pilipino ay ikaw na rin ay Pilipino.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sa makatuwid, tanong ulit po kay Yusek Villar. Sa makatuwid, hindi po tinatanong ng DOJ o ng Bureau of Immigration kung ang isang aplikante para sa isang recognition of citizenship ay holder ng foreign passport dahil ito ay hindi issue.
Pagdating po sa citizenship, hindi po issue na may pasaporte po ng ibang bansa.
Maraming salamat po. Mr. Chair, dagdag pa rin na tanong para kay DOJ Yusek Villar. May mga pagkakataon po bang ang isang citizen ng ibang bansa, halimbawa American citizen, ay mag-a-apply na maging Filipino citizen at mabibigyan ng Filipino citizenship habang siya pa rin ay nananatiling American citizen?
Pagdating po sa naturalization ng mga foreign citizens, hindi po Filipino citizen, foreign citizen, na katulad po sa binigay niyo pong halimbawa, isang American citizen na nag-a-apply na maging naturalized na Filipino citizen. Yun po ba yung tanong nyo? O,
ang tinatanong ko po, Yusek, maaari po bang mag-apply ang isang American citizen halimbawa na maging Filipino citizen at mabibigyan siya ng Filipino citizenship habang siya pa rin ay nananatiling American citizen?
Depende po yun kasi po, depende kung sino po yung mga magulang nung nag-a-apply na American citizen, kung mapapatunayan niyo yun. Pero kung ang magulang din po niya ay Amerikano at mag-a-apply siya na maging Pilipino, maging naturalized na Pilipino through whatever means allowed under our law, ay kinakailangan po niyang i-renounce yung pagiging Amerikano niya.
Sa makatuwid po, kung ang isang aplikante na American citizen para maging Filipino citizen ay ang mga magulang ay Pilipino, siya ay maaaring mabigyan ng Filipino citizenship ulit.
Kung ang magulang ay Pilipino at nawala niya ang kanyang Philippine citizenship, yun ba ang tanong ninyo?
Ito na lang po itatanong ko po, sino lang po ba ang maaaring maging dual citizen sa ilalim ng ating dual citizenship law?
So, meron po kasi yan sa dual citizenship law, merong reacquisition at retention. So, under po ng dual citizenship law, kung meron pong isang Pilipinong na naturalize, bago maipasa ang batas na dual citizenship law, kailangan po niya mag-take ng oath na nakasaad din po doon sa batas para po ma-reacquire niya ang kanyang citizenship. Pero kung na-naturalize ang Pilipino, natural-born Pilipino, after mapasa ang dual citizenship law, ay kinoconsider na na-retain niya ang kanyang Philippine citizenship. Pero nakasaad sa batas pa rin na kahit na-retain niya, kinakailangan pa rin niyang mag-take ng.
Sa kaso po ba ni Mr. Gabby Lopez, ano po ang kanyang kategorya? Retention o reacquisition?
Siya po ay hindi na-naturalize. Siya po ay nanatiling base sa mga facts na available po sa Department of Justice, ay wala pong ebidensya pang napepresenta para ipakita na kanyang naging naturalized American siya o na ni-renounce niya ang kanyang Filipino citizenship. So ang kanyang Filipino citizenship ay nananatili since birth.
In other words po, Madam Yusek, sa kaso po ni Mr. Gabby Lopez, ang kanyang kailangan ay simpleng recognition of Philippine citizenship.
For whatever purpose, pero hindi po niya to kailangan, yung certification po na in-issue ng Department of Justice, katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, ay confirmatory lamang. Hindi niya po ito kailangan para maging Filipino citizen. Dahil po, siya po ay Filipino citizen na since birth. Dahil ang magulang niya ay Pilipino.
Kung Fortune, last question na po.
Dagdag lang na tanong po para kay Yusek. Ano po ba ang ibig sabihin ng recognition na nakuha ni Mr. Gabby Lopez? Ito po ba ay recognition ng kanyang Filipino citizenship mula noong siya ay humingi ng recognition? Kumbaga parang reactivation ng kanyang citizenship? O recognition ito ng kanyang Filipino citizenship mula noong siya ay pinanganak?
Sa certification po nakalagay po na natural born. Kaya po simula ng pagkapanganak.
In other words po, ang recognition ito ay nagsasaad na ni minsan si Mr. Gabby Lopez ay hindi natanggal ang kanyang Filipino citizenship. Tama po ba?
Sa certification po, opo, natural born. Pero ito po, katulad ng nabanggit ko kanina, ay base sa mga facts na available po ngayon sa Department of Justice.
Maraming salamat po. Mr. Chair, isa na lang kung mayroon tayong representatives mula sa Securities and Exchange Commission.
Meron po. You can direct your last question po sa SEC.
Okay, para sa SEC po, huling tanong. Noong si Mr. Gabby Lopez ay nag-assume na presidente ng ABS CBN, alam ba ninyo na itong si Mr. Gabby Lopez ay bagamat Pilipino ang kanyang mga magulang, ay ipinanganak sa Amerika at sa gayon siya rin ay American citizen?
Your Honor, this is Commissioner F. Amatong of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Thank you very much for the opportunity to participate in today's hearings, Your Honor. Your Honor, in the records with the SEC, we only have records as submitted by the corporation, ABS CBN, and the other corporations with Mr. Lopez, identifying him to be a Filipino citizen. We do not inquire anymore, Your Honor, as to the citizenship of his parents or his background. We are merely relying on the records that are submitted to us, primarily the corporate records, as certified by the corporate secretary.
Mr. Chair, isang tanong na lang po talaga, kahuli-hulihan. Pwede po ba?
Sige po, one last na lang po talaga.
One last question. Wala po bang ni isang forma na sinusumite sa Securities and Exchange Commission kung saan nilalagay ang pangalan ng presidente tulad ni Gabby Lopez, nilalagay din ang kanyang date of birth, nakalagay din ang kanyang place of birth, at nakalagay din ang pangalan ng kanyang mga magulang?
Your Honor, ang sinasubmit lang po sa amin ay ang Articles of Incorporation tulad ng in-explain po kanina, yung incorporators, nilalagay rin po yung citizenship. And the other forms that are submitted to us are the general information sheet containing the names and nationalities and addresses, pati po TIN number, tax identification number of the directors and officers of the corporation. So, andun po yung citizenship po nakalagay ng mga directors and officers, and per the records that were forwarded to me, ang representation po sa amin ay Pilipino po ang nakalagay in the case of Mr. Lopez when he was an officer of ABS CBN.
Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Maraming salamat sa
Thank you,
ating
Kong
mga,
Fortun.
Before Mr. Gabby Lopez at sa ating mga resource persons.
Thank you. Before we recognize our next interpellator, may mga gusto na pong hingiin yung committee. Una po sa DOJ, kung pwede po natin hingiin lahat ng records na pertaining to Mr. Lopez's recognition. Sa SEC, pakisubmit po lahat ng records ng corporations, tulad po ng Articles of Incorporation, tsaka GIS, na kung saan po si Mr. Lopez po incorporator or officer. And then sa ABS po, lahat po ng related companies na relate na kasama, yung mga PDRs po ninyo, submit lang po. Congressman Mike, Defensor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, before I continue with my interpellation, let me just put on the record, because earlier it was mentioned by Attorney Bautista, that the SEC, in fact, approved the submission of the incorporation papers of ABS CBN. Malinaw po ang sinabi ng SEC ngayon, ministerial. Kung ano yung nilagay doon, tinanggap po nila. So there was no approval as to the citizenship. There's no approval or process for the SEC. So pasok na po ako, Mr. Chairman, doon sa aking mga katanungan. Again, to Mr. Gabby Lopez, kay Attorney Bautista, magandang hapon po sa inyo. Ang una ko pong tanong kay Mr. Gabby Lopez, kanina po binanggit, no, since birth, wala po kayong Philippine passport until ito pong 2001, nung kayo po yung nag-apply ng recognition as a Filipino citizen.
Mr. Lopez.
Opo, Your Honor.
Yes, and to date, Mr. Lopez, meron po ba kayong Philippine passport na o US passport pa rin po?
Your Honor, I have two passports. I used both passports.
Okay. Ngayon, ito po'y gusto ko lang iklaro, and Attorney Bautista can reply to this. In 1996, February 1996, you were issued an American passport. Is that correct, Mr. Lopez?
I don't recall, Your Honor, when my American passport, the last renewal of my American passport in 1996. I would have to look at my passport.
Yes, but it would be doesn't have to be exact, but it was sometime in the mid-90s, Mr. Lopez, that you were given a passport. I mean, a renewal of the US passport.
Opo, Your Honor.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just read, and Mr. Lopez and Attorney Bautista can reply to this. In one of the conditions in the application of a US passport, in the acts or conditions, and if I may read, Mr. Chair, for the record, if any of the below-mentioned acts or conditions have been performed by or applied to the applicant, the portion which applies should be lined out, and a supplementary explanatory statement under oath or affirmation by the applicant should be attached and made a part of this application. Ito na po yung quote. Application for a U.S. passport. I have not, since acquiring United States citizenship, nationality, been naturalized as a citizen of a foreign state, taken an oath or made an affirmation or other formal declaration of allegiance to a foreign state, entered or served in the armed forces of a foreign state, accepted or performed the duties of any office, post, or employment under the government of a foreign state or political subdivision thereof, made a formal renunciation of nationality either in the United States or before a diplomatic or consular officer of the United States in a foreign state, or been convicted by a court or court-martialed of competent jurisdiction of committing any act of treason against or attempting by force to overthrow or bearing arm against the United States or conspiring to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States. Ang act and condition po na to sa pag-apply ng US passport only means that you are giving allegiance to the United States and no other foreign state. Very clear. Again, Attorney Bautista can answer. If you signed this application and you were given a passport, therefore, you are repudiating any other citizenship, and you're saying that you're giving your sole allegiance to the United States of America. Mr. Chairman.
Attorney Ayaw, will respond, Your Honor.
Attorney Bautista, you are recognized.
Salamat po, no? Maliwanag po sa Commonwealth Act number 63. Nakalista po doon yung modes by which Philippine citizenship may be lost. Number 1 po, naturalization in a foreign country. Maliwanag po na Mr. Lopez was never nationalized. Pangalawa po,
Mr. Bautista, if I may again call your attention, when he applied for a renewal in 1996, he signed as part of the application the part on acts or conditions. And if I may read the particular phrase, that you have not made an affirmation or other formal declaration of allegiance to a foreign state, which will be construed, Attorney Bautista, that you have sole allegiance to the United States of America. Kaya po tinanong ko yung application ng Philippine passport. Kasi, wala hong ganun eh. Pero sa US passport, nung nag-apply noong 1996, and even before that, very clear that part of that condition is you will have sole allegiance to the United States of America.
Ang sagot ko po doon, hindi po tayo dalubhasa sa American law dahil we are Philippine lawyers. Ang sinasabi ko lang po, that under our law, he never lost his citizenship when he applied for or obtained foreign passport.
Mr. Chairman, the best evidence is the document itself. The signed document is the best evidence. I don't think we should be arguing on that matter now. I think that if there is an application for a passport renewal, we should get a copy of the same so that we know what, or at least a copy of the form signed, so that we don't have to argue on the merits of the said document, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Kong Boying.
Given that, Congressman Remulla, maybe all we have to do is download the application of the form of for the renewal of the U.S. passport, Mr. Chairman. So again, I just wanted to clarify that. Pwede po niyong i-download yan, makikita po yan ng lahat ng tao. Pag ikaw ay nag-apply ng renewal, kung ikaw ay U.S. citizen, parte ng kondisyon doon ay wala kang pagkampi o wala kang pagkilala sa ibang bansa o sa ibang gobyerno, kundi ang gobyerno at ang bansa ng Estados Unidos. I may now go back to my second point. Doon po sa ating Constitution, and it was read by Attorney Bautista earlier, the ownership and management of mass media shall be limited to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations, cooperatives, or associations wholly owned and managed by such citizens.
From 1986.
Congressman Remulla,
Congressman Remulla, pakipatay pa
your
yung
mic is on.
Pakipatay yung mic.
So I read now Section 11 of the General Provisions. Tinignan ko po yung definition ng word na wholly owned and managed by such citizens. And ang definition po niya is entirely, fully. Under the Merriam-Webster dictionary definition, it is full or entire or completely. Kaya, again, on 2 points, I maintain my position that the question of citizenship is not just a question of whether you are a dual citizen, na yan po ang pinagdidebatehan ngayon, tanggap na Pilipino ka, pero ikaw din ay Amerikano, at yung pong question ng citizenship sa allegiance. Yung una pong tanong ko sa passport, yun po yung sa allegiance. Ito pong tanong ko pangalawa, dun sa general provisions, yung definition ng wholly owned and managed provision. Now, I go back to my question on ownership. Mr. Lopez, from 1986 to 2020, how many shares do you own? Magmula po nung panahon ng 1986 nung kayo po'y umuwi at pinatakbo na po ang ABS-CBN, gaano ho kalaki ang parte ng inyong pagmamayari sa korporasyon?
Your Honor, I don't have that number with me right now. It is not a significant number. Most of the shares I got is from the employee stock ownership plan of ABS-CBN. It is not a significant, statistically significant number. The ownership of the family is through Lopez Holdings and through Lopez Inc. That owns 56% of ABS-CBN. Individually, all of us perhaps own shares of stock, but none of them are significant, statistically significant po.
Opo, so kung ito po'y aayusin, kunyari ho, yung meron sa Lopez Holdings, meron sarili ninyo, more or less so, ilang kayang percent ang lalabas po dito?
Yung sa akin,
Si Eric Quezon.
perhaps Eric Quezon can answer this question. Eric?
Mr. Yason, you're recognized.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, I don't have that information right now. But we could submit that.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Chair.
Pakisubmit na lang po next time pa.
So yes, part of the request is to get. And from 1986 to the current Mr. Chairman, I understand that Mr. Gabby Lopez is already Chairman Emeritus, but from 86 to year 2020, what positions have you undertaken as part of management of ABS-CBN?
Paki-unmute lang yung device ni Mr. Lopez, please.
Salamat po.
Paki-mute.
If I recall correctly, I started as a CFO, then I became general manager, then I became president, and then I became chief executive. I retired as chief executive when I turned 60, and I retired from being a chairman when I turned 65. So,
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, again, we would like to thank Mr. Gabby Lopez for giving us the time and to answer the questions. Isang tanong lang po, Mr. Lopez, you may or may not answer this question. Pero, again, everyone have been telling you that, we know that it is not your fault. Hindi niyo po kasalanan na kayo po ay isang American citizen dahil doon kayo pinanganak. At hindi nyo rin kasalanan na kayo naging Pilipino dahil po ang mga magulang nyo ay Pilipino. Kung doon po sa pagdaan ng panahon, hindi nyo pa ho naisip na mag-renounce ng American citizenship para maging kabuuang Pilipino na po ang inyong maging citizenship, Mr. Lopez?
yes, I have considered it, but the way I see it, I am first and foremost Filipino. I will live, I will die in the Philippines. That is certainly been the family's position, and We are 7 generations of Lopez's in the Philippines. Frankly, the issue of being a dual citizen is not even something that I think about. I know in my heart I am a Filipino, and all my actions in the last 35 years I've been associated with ABS CBN has been with the service of the Filipino in my mind. So you are right. It is something that I should have considered, but it was never something that I felt was an issue in terms of any of my actions. If it came down to conflict of interest, I would give up my U.S. citizenship in a minute.
So thank you, Mr. Lopez. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Diyan na po magtatapos yung first round natin, but meron tayong dalawang manifestations. But before po natin ibigay, may request na po yung mga ibang members na kay Mr. Lopez kung pwede po natin masubmit yung copies po ng American and Filipino passport po. And also fra Bureau of Immigration, kung pwede po ma-request yung travel history, travel records po ni Mr. Lopez from 1986 up to present. Thank you. The Chair would like to recognize now for his manifestation, Minority Leader Benny Abante.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me here?
Malinaw po.
Okay. Narinig ko po ang mga brilliant argument ng ating magagaling na mga abogado. Sa aking pagkarinig ay bilang hindi po abogado, ako'y natututo at nakikita ko ng malinaw ang ibig sabihin ng citizenship. Binabasa ko po yung article tungkol po sa citizenship sa ating Constitution. Nakalagay po dito, the following are citizens of the Philippines. Those who are citizens of the Philippine Islands at the time of the adoption of this Constitution, palagay ko ito yung 1987. Number 2, those born in the Philippine Islands of foreign parents who before the adoption of the Constitution had been elected to public office in the Philippine Islands. Those whose fathers are citizens of the Philippines, those whose mothers are citizens of the Philippines, and upon reaching the age of majority, elect Philippine citizenship. Gusto ko lang pong sabihin na sa aking pananaw bilang isang ordinaryong Pilipinong hindi abogado, ano po, kapag ang tatay o nanay mo ay Pilipino, ayon sa aking pagkaunawa sa ating Constitution, ikaw ay Pilipino. Simple lamang po ang panuntunan na yan. Sa ligang batas, natin yan. Kahit saan ka pinanganak, ikaw ay ituturing ng batas na Pilipino. Sa akin pong pakikinig sa lahat ng mga tinuran ng ating mga abogado, si Mr. Gabby Lopez ay pinanganak sa Amerika. Tatay at nanay niya ay parehong Pilipino. Kaya siya ay Pilipino din. Kahit pa binigyan siya ng American citizenship dahil doon siya pinanganak. What our laws prohibit, ay hiniwala po ako, is dual allegiance, not dual citizenship. Tulad po ng mga kaso ni Edo Manzano at LPJ, hindi labag sa ating batas na magkaroon ng dual citizenship. Tulad ng aking apo na pinanganak sa Amerika, pero ang kanyang nanay ay Pilipina, kahit na ang kanyang tatay ay Amerikano, siya po ay tinuturing na Pilipino. Kaya bago ko tapusin itong manifestation ko, ang aking question po lamang kay Mr. Lopez ay ito. Did you ever take an oath of allegiance in the U.S., Mr. Gabby Lopez?
Magandang hapon po, Minority Leader Abante. Hindi po, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, kung ang sagot niya dyan ay yes, he is no longer a Filipino. Kung ang sagot niya ay no, then you are a Filipino and I will stand by you as a fellow Filipino. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair, atin pong chairman ng both committees. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Minority Leader Abante. Last na po, para ngayong araw na to, ang manifestation ni Congresswoman Jam Baronda. Mukhang wala na po yata si Kong Jam Baronda. 12:30 na po, meron pa pong ang 1 p.m. na hearing, ang committee ng good government. So, adjourn suspend natin until Monday, 1 p.m. next hearing.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, on the part of the Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, this meeting is hereby suspended.
On the part of the Committee of Legislative Franchises, this hearing is suspended.